A very good and happy Thursday morning to everyone out there. Baby Friday has arrived. Landon here with you in the driver's seat, locked in and ready to go to bring you your latest weather and night forecast, courtesy of On Target. Getting a look out here at the latest satellite and surface map overlay, you can notice one big elephant in the room. That elephant in the room is Hurricane Erin, churning right off the East Coast. Not going to make a landfall, that is the good news. This thing is going to continue to deflect and move further off to the north and east, off of the East Coast, and taking some surge concerns right along the Carolinas up into the northeast, and bringing minimal impacts in comparison to what this could have been, with Hurricane Erin being a major hurricane. Big story for us here locally. We got the cold front down and south of the region. This is going to continue to pull down in this direction. You got some meandering cloud cover here, but the real story is high pressure to our north that's going to continue to churn in northerly winds here right across the Commonwealth and the Wobbles community, and that is good news. It's going to mitigate highs as we work throughout the day. Going to be much cooler than what we've been experiencing. Lower dew points will be the real name of the weather game, folks, but we're going to be looking at a drastic drop in the dew points. That's not going to be arriving here until we work a little bit later and throughout the weekend, so we'll definitely be getting into more of that here very shortly. All right, let's get a look across the region, shall we? First and foremost, the D93 Skycam overlooking Bowling Green. You can see some of those bands of clouds that we still got present looking over off to the east early this morning, along with the sunrise. And we can jump over and we can take a gander over our Barren River Lake Skycam. Similar scenario overlooking the state dock there, and got some cloud cover that's present over in that direction as well. Looking at those current conditions, this is the big weather story. It's not so much the temperatures, they're hanging out right around the same vicinity that they have been, right around that 70-degree mark. Look at the dew points. We're all the way down to the mid-60s, and that's a far cry in comparison to what we've been experiencing. Look up here along the Ohio River. They're down to around the 62-degree mark over here in Hancock County and upwards into northern Kentucky. We're going to have to be patient and wait a little bit longer for those values to get down near our vicinity, but mid-60s here across the region, folks. I'm going to take every bit of that in comparison to the mid-70s that we have been absolutely swimming in here recently. Let's take a look at the latest short-term model guidance to give you the breakdown of exactly what we're going to be looking at. First and foremost, we're going to take a look at the cloud cover that we're going to deal with throughout today. Some of these bands of clouds are working in here off a massive Hurricane Erin right off of the East Coast. You can see some of the bands sliding westward there. We're going to have a healthy mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. The good news is it should mitigate our high temperatures as we work into this afternoon. Here we are progressing throughout our Friday, and what do you notice? A whole lot less cloud cover in comparison to what we're going to be experiencing today. That is unfortunately going to result in temperatures warming back up in the Friday to Saturday time frame. But hold on tight, folks, because that major reinforcing cold front is going to be pushing through here Saturday afternoon into the Saturday night time frame. Getting a look here at the high temperature forecast as we work throughout the day. Again, folks, cloud cover is going to be playing in our favor today. Silver lining as we work into this afternoon, we're going to be trapped somewhere between the low and mid 80s region wide, and that is the good news. With less cloud cover tomorrow and that upper ridge building back in from the west for a couple of days, we're unfortunately going to be taking highs right back up between the low and mid 90s. This is going to be the same song and dance that's going to take us into the Saturday time frame as well. Now for what you've all been waiting for. We're taking a look at 18 to 20,000 feet vertically up into the atmosphere. Here we are working throughout today, and you will know we got a little bit of a trough over here, but this ridge is going to kick back a bit eastward, as you can see here, working into our Friday and on into our Saturday. You can see the expanding nature of this eastward. This is what's going to take back over, and it's going to pump dew points back up to the upper 60s and highs around the low to mid 90s both Friday and Saturday. But keep your eyes on this monster trough digging down here out of southern Canada. It's going to be working over to the Great Lakes by the time we work into Saturday afternoon and evening. That is going to open up the door for a drastic change in the air mass across the region. The strong upper level ridge is going to have a stranglehold across the desert southwest. And we got this large trough that's carving right out of the Midwest and into the Great Lakes. This is going to bring a massive reinforcing cold front through the region late Saturday into the early morning hours of our Sunday. We might have a stray shower or storm pop up right along the front. It is going to be somewhat moisture deprived. But folks, after that cold front gets through here, this trough is going to be setting up shop, and it's not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Here we are working through Monday, we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way through Thursday, even into Friday of next week. You can see that reinforcing trough remains intact. Folks, we're going to be looking at below normal, below average temperatures and much lower humidity throughout the vast majority of next week. You better soak it in and enjoy it, folks, because you'll take a look here as we roll into the following week and we try to get this ridge that builds back in here from the south and west. It's going to escort higher dew points back into the region. Speaking of dew points, folks, that's where our focus is going to be on, is that awful humidity that we've been having the snorkel on to get through the air mass out there, okay? Now, again, we are going to get some relief today. As you can see, dew points right around the low to mid 60s. But take a look, folks, as we work into Friday and Saturday with the ridge building back across the region. You got dew points creeping back up to the upper 60s, close to the 70-degree mark. I don't think we're going to quite reach that. But mid and upper 60s remain the name of the weather game all the way through Friday, all the way through our Saturday. And then note the much drier air residing off to our north and west. Right here is the gradient where you see the higher dew points in comparison to the lower dew points. This is where the powerful cold front is going to be located. Here we are working into sunrise on Sunday. The cold front will be pressing all that moisture down to our south and east. As you wake up early Sunday morning, we're going to be looking at dew points right around the mid-60s, but by the time we roll into Sunday evening, we're going to be all the way down between the upper 40s to lower 50s. It is going to feel absolutely immaculate for the last half of the weekend, rolling into the early days of the new work week as well. And dare I say it, folks, as we roll into sunrise on Monday and Tuesday, we could be looking at some temperature readings for some of us. Perhaps even falling down to the low, maybe mid-50s. Going to be a little bit chilly out there in comparison to the oven that we have been stuck in here over the past few weeks, all right? So here we are looking at Monday. We go into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. Look at the low dew points, folks. That is exactly what we want to see this time of year. And then we see the dew points creep back up, where we were just talking about with the ridge trying to build back in. Dew points rebounding back up between the mid and upper 60s as we roll into the first day of September right there on Labor Day, all right? Jumping back over here and talking about what we can expect with a passing cold front as we progress throughout the Saturday time frame. Whenever the cold front goes through here, no severe weather is expected. Just stray, random pop-up showers, maybe a few storms to come along with it. Again, a price to pay. We would like to receive more rain with some drought conditions that we have that have sprung up across the region. But we will take any rain we can get, but the lower humidity and lower temperatures will be great news regardless. Taking a look out into the tropics, hurricane season continues to ramp up. Aaron is continuing to bow off into the Atlantic. Looks like a similar pathway that this tropical disturbance is going to take. It's expected to develop into a tropical cyclone here shortly. And of course, we've got another one, a newer formation here, right off the west coast of Africa with a 40% probability. Obviously going to keep close eyes on that as these weather makers continue to evolve. Next to nothing in the rainfall department, folks. Not great news on the drought front is what I was previously mentioning. But with that being said, below average temperatures and lower humidity, that's the good news, the side of the coin. The bad side of the coin is that it looks like our drought situation will only be getting worse here over the next week or so. Here's a full breakdown of your next 6-day weather forecast for today. Mid-80s, partly sunny. Dew points hanging around the mid-60s. It's going to be pretty beautiful out there in comparison to the weather that we have been experiencing. It will still be a little bit warm. Upper Ridge builds back in here Friday into Saturday with highs around 90 degrees. We got the isolated shower and storm chance with a passing front on Saturday. And then Sweet relief barrels in here. Gonna wake up, gonna achieve the mid and upper 80s early Sunday morning with temperatures and dew points falling. We are going to be lucky to escape the 70s between Monday and Wednesday of next week. Again, folks, open up those arms, welcome in the much cooler air rolling in here. Don't know about you all, but I've already acquired my chili supplies. So regardless, not going to be a true taste of fall, but high temperatures in the 70s, overnight lows in the 50s. That is good enough for me. That's going to wrap up your Thursday morning Baby Friday edition of your Weather or Not forecast, presented by none other than On Target. You all take care of yourselves and each other. Have a fantastic